Am I the asshole? For intimidating embarrassing a child in front of his peers for stealing from my son? My son's school releases some annual merch for the different houses and it's an extra cost that we have to pay cash to pre-order. I gave my son $50 to get the hoodie and the change would be his to do whatever. That day my son came back and told us his wallet had disappeared from his bag. I gave him more money just for the hoodie and we reported the missing wallet to the school but nothing turned up. On Monday I was waiting to pick up my son when this lady came and introduced herself as Bob's mother. She handed me my son's wallet. It has his name on it and apologized and said she found it in Bob's room and he confessed that he'd stolen the wallet to pay for his own hoodie since she couldn't afford it and gave the change to her as money he found on the street. She reimbursed me half and promised to give the rest at a later stage but I told her to just keep it. The money wasn't the problem, it was the disrespect of digging through someone else's shit with the intention to steal. I'm going to say not the asshole. Not really. The kid's mother should have been saying exactly what you said. My daughter stole once. I brought her back into the store, made her go up to the cashier and return at a candy bar and apologize. She definitely learned her lesson and still remembers it even now. Not the asshole for having the kid apologize to yours. That's totally reasonable and if the kid's mom let it happen, not the asshole. You're the asshole. No, your mom can't apologize, you have to do it. Why are you apologizing to me? You should be apologizing to my son. No, that's the wrong way to apologize. I can't hear you, speak up, you're stuttering. Oh, you're sorry, exactly what are you sorry for? Be specific, and hurry up, I'm in a rush. That was horrible. You're the asshole, although to be fair, you didn't cross that line until this bit. Again I jumped in again to tell him we had to get back home so he should hurry up. Bob didn't jump your kid in the parking lot. And he's not trying to pretend he didn't do anything wrong here. It's fine to still insist on a direct apology, but if you're more concerned with confirming he's genuinely sorry and won't do it again than public humiliation, give him the time he needs to say what you want him to say. Not the asshole. He's gonna remember this next time he tries snooping in your son's belongings or anyone else's belongings, and as for the money, you're a bigger man than me. I would have made them pay the full stolen amount on the spot, but that's just me. Probably might get downvoted but I feel you're the asshole. Maybe a mild but definitely one. I am not saying the kid didn't do wrong but what your wife said is correct, that a 13-year-old, who got caught and probably was explained by his mother and whose mother who seems a stand-up lady, if was scared, nervous, ashamed when apologizing, pressuring him or being stern and saying speak up and we are getting late is just slightly owish. I do understand that you probably didn't shout or cross line as per the child's mom as she allowed, but I just feel, as an adult, we can handle it better. You're the asshole. When dealing with kids as an adult there is always an imbalance of power. I think it's best to be as kind as possible, especially at 13. You telling him to hurry up and speak louder was asshole-ish. It comes across like you wanted to assert dominance, belittle him. He was clearly embarrassed and you didn't help the situation. I'd have taken him aside, have him apologize and try to teach him how to handle these types of issues in the future with compassion and patience. They're struggling. Why add to the situation? For some reason my brain read the title as stealing my son. I'm going with not the asshole though. I was going to say not the asshole anyway but he's 13. I don't know why I assumed that these were 5-6-year-olds. 13 is old enough to know right from wrong and dealing with the consequences. You're the asshole for making it worse than it had to be. The mother was honest, gave you money she obviously didn't have, the kid owned up. You didn't have to make such a show about it. That's just mean. You're the asshole just because of the fact your son was with friends. He stole from your son so the apology should have just been between him and your son. Adding their peers as onlookers adds a weird public humiliation aspect to it that I'm not a fan of. You're the asshole. Look, Bob wasn't off for stealing the wallet, no doubt. But, the mom owned up to it, made a plan to pay back the money, and brought the kid out to be held responsible and apologize. Technically an adult, used that opportunity to intimidate, berate, and harass the kid. Don't punish people for trying to do the right thing. You're the asshole. You sound like a holier-than-thou snob. Let's get the poors to grovel so they won't do this again. I wouldn't have stolen the money, but I know what it's like being the kid without any money. Telling other kids I don't like X brand of pizza and that's why I'm not participating in pizza day, can't go on the school trip because we are already going on a family vacation, no that's not my stomach growling, it just hurts from eating too much breakfast, etc. Empathy, compassion, and forgiveness go a long way. Not the asshole. It doesn't sound like Bob's mom had an issue with holding her son accountable. Bob is low income, but that doesn't mean he can steal. Good for his mom for coming out with the truth. You're the asshole. Your title says it all. This wasn't about the apology, it was about intimidating and embarrassing the child. Soft, you're the asshole. You didn't need to badger the kid. Yes, he was so very wrong to do it. But he was caught, and he apologized. Humiliating a 13-year-old in front of his peers was unnecessary. If it had been a private conversation, I wouldn't have a problem, but you still didn't have to badger the kid. You're the asshole. I don't really get how an adult can get so high on defeating a 13-year-old kid. But you really showed exactly? Not to get caught? Never admit something? Destroy the evidence? Fear adults? Do you really think kids are learning the right lesson by bullying them in a public parking lot? Do you really think your son enjoyed watching you humiliating some other kid for him? Do you really think you made the situation better for anyone involved? As someone whose mom pulled the same stunt when I was a kid, you're the asshole. This child is going to have a very hard time apologizing in the future, and now you've put the mom who did the right thing in a tenuous parenting situation. Also, depending on how the other kids view the situation, your son's friendships might be weird going forward because he'll be known as the kid with the scary parents. Soft, you're the asshole not for holding the kid accountable and having him apologize, but you went overboard having it done in front of his peers and telling him to hurry it up. Shame just isn't really an effective tool for making better people. You're the asshole, you went beyond apologizing and decided to humiliate a kid as revenge. Did it make you feel good to make a child afraid of you, coward? That's not how you teach a lesson to a kid. Making him apologize is fine. Embarrassing him in front of his peers is not. You have no idea what the kid's situation is. Raising him is not your business, and if it was, you couldn't do it right, because you don't know him well enough. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. All the people saying not the asshole obviously don't know shit about child psychology. The kid, who just wanted a hoodie his family couldn't afford, messed up and got caught, and mom did the right thing. The end. It was completely unnecessary to publicly humiliate him the way you did. Hope he doesn't get ostracized at school or bullied on social media now. You're the asshole, but I get it. I understand your motivation and it's reasonable. But, the boy stole money to buy a hoodie because he was embarrassed he couldn't afford it. The mom found out and made it right. A private apology from the boy would have been kinder in this situation. He's still pretty young and it can be tough to be less resourced than your peers. You're the asshole. How you treated this boy is far worse than him stealing the wallet. Yes, he is 13 and should know better. But hell, you aren't 13, you are an adult and you didn't do this bullying to teach him, you enjoyed intimating him in front of his friends. You should have handled this calmly and in a private setting. I hope your son has learned a lesson. Not the stealing bit, but he lesson that his father is a bully and to become a person better than you. You're the asshole. I was fine until you decided to intimidate and harass this kid for not apologizing the way you wanted him to. He was crying and stuttering, it's not like he could help it. It's a really bad look coming from an adult well-off man towards an underprivileged child. Gross. You're the asshole. This child did something wrong, you could have had him apologize to your son privately. Instead you humiliated him for being poor, and outed a financial situation to the class. Shame on you. I normally agree with the Reddit hive mind on am I the asshole? But this one has made me quite sad. There's not a lot of compassion on display here. Hell no, not the asshole, and your wife was wrong. The kid's 13 and plenty old enough to be confronted with the consequences of stealing from your own son. I get that the mom has financial issues, but that doesn't excuse her son's behavior. And he absolutely owed that apology to your kid. You're the asshole for making this a public affair. Fine to have the kid apologize, but this was not the right venue. I also wonder about the family's financial circumstances, because if his mother does not have $50 available, this kid family could be dealing with all sorts of hardships. The mother went out of her way to hold her son accountable and may have also been embarrassed by this becoming a spectacle instead of you accepting the apology and plan for repayment. You're the asshole. You jumped in so many times for your son that he's the one who is hiding behind his mommy's skirts. AITA. Because even you admit you were a grown man purposely intimidating a child who was trying to apologize because he didn't say it fast enough while crying. You're the asshole. It's not your place to tell the kid what to do and then make him feel worse when he was trying to do the right thing. There's clearly deeper issues for that family than him taking your son's wallet. I think you were right to ask him to apologize to your son directly. But when you're telling him to speak louder, hurry up and in front of other peers, that's where you're TA. If that was your kid and a parent was basically belittling him while he tried to apologize, I feel like you'd be calling them an asshole. I got spanked and neither of my parents are cops or abusers.